Hi, everybody. This is Skip Elsheimer. I'm pre recording my Christmas show, and this is a 3 hour show. Includes some stuff I've shown in the past and some new stuff, some stuff from my collection, some stuff from the Prelinger collection, stuff from other places. But hopefully, it'll be something that you can sit, drink your coffee, relax after opening gifts, and watch some stuff about Christmas. I very much appreciate you guys tuning in over the year, and I look forward to watching more films with you in the new year. So I'll be back live tomorrow. But everybody have a great rest of your day today. Merry Christmas, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Stories were told that been at Bethlehem on the first Christmas and was roaming the earth on a special mission for the baby Jesus. This story begins the Christmas season of any year, when the deer's wanderings took him into a great forest near the home of an old woodcutter, which was set rather far from the village. Few persons ever saw Nicholas, the woodcutter, except from a distance. And, as about anyone who is not understood, stories were told about him. The villagers even came to call him Old Nick, which fit very well with his shaggy gray beard that each year grew longer and whiter. The truth was, this man was lonely and unhappy. He had not felt needed by anyone since his little grandson had died many years before. He had grown used to his loneliness as he sealed himself off from mankind. Here in his workshop, he looked even more like Old Nick with his great mane of hair. But actually, this old man had been a woodcarver. He had carved the figures that lined the walls. He had made them for his grandson, but he had not done any carving since his grandson's death. The figures were but his memories that made time stand still. He even had carved figures to tell the Christmas story, but his grandson had died before he carved one of the baby Jesus. With that one exception, he had all of the figures of the nativity, even the figure of a deer. For in this region, the story of the Christmas deer had been told many times, and even been written as a song, a Christmas song whose melody Nick liked to play on a whistle he once carved. On that Christmas night came the deer a-wandering to the manger where Mary sat a-watching, and the shepherds there at the babe were wondering, and the wise men kneeled, praying to Lord Jesus. On that holy night came the Christmas deer. Yes, this was Nicholas and his hermit's world, a lonely remnant of time for a man who no longer felt needed. It was a few days later. Old Nick was on his way back from the forest with an old sled of his grandson's loaded with as much wood as he could pull. As he came to a bend in the roadway, he saw the deer watching him. From this first moment, Nick seemed drawn to the animal. He left his wood without a backward glance, and thus began a strange journey. Standing quietly until the old man was near, the deer then moved slowly and deliberately, as if setting his pace for Old Nick to follow. Only when Nick was deep in the forest did the deer bound out of sight, leaving just his tracks.
Bright and cold the sun, and the wind was
tracks led to a boy. They led right up to him, and Nick, following them, came upon the child. The boy, too, had followed a deer, but when the deer had run off, he was lost. Did Nick know the way back? So Nick was needed, if only to lead the boy out of the forest. The effect of being needed by a boy was very strong on old Nick. Or was it the effect of the nearness of the Christmas deer? Whatever the cause, wonders are sometimes worked in the souls of men, and this happened to Nick. By the time they approached the roadway, Nick didn't want the boy to leave. Trying to think of something to interest the child, the old man talked of how he carved things out of wood, all sorts of things, even whistles, on which he could play tunes. Putting his whistle to his lips, he watched the boy as he played. The whistle spoke of the old man's need. Through the nearby trees, the song spoke to the doves. It whispered to the fowl of the barnyards near. It even spoke to the courtyard birds with their feathers long. To the donkey, too, spoke the ancient song, and to the Christmas deer. Then, could it whisper to a child's heart? The boy seemed charmed by the melody, and on a sudden impulse, the old man took a stick. "You could make one out of this," he suggested, offering it to the child. With a word of thanks to the old man, the boy ran toward the village, clutching the crude gift, taking more than the old man meant to give, and leaving Nick feeling disturbed and uncertain. In his workshop, he sat fingering the figures of the nativity scene. The place where the baby Jesus figure should be seemed big and vacant. And for the first time in years, Nick started to carve once more. He would make a figure of the baby Jesus. He selected a piece of wood and began his work. He knew just what the figure should look like. But his fingers were clumsy. The knife slipped and the work was hard. As he worked, the piece of wood that should have looked more and more like a Christ child actually looked more and more like another whistle. His talent for carving, so long neglected, seemed gone. Now the awful feeling of uselessness mingled with his loneliness, and aimlessly he moved to look out the little window of his world. But even the figure of the deer on the hillside did not awaken old Nick's spirit. The day before Christmas, Nick was dejectedly pulling his wood home from the forest when the boy came running after him, calling. Like a guardian angel stood the deer nearby. The boy told an amazing story. He had made a whistle and then taken it to the village church. There, beside the church, was a nativity scene with a Christ child. To him, the boy took the whistle in thanks for having been rescued from the forest. Then he remembered words so clearly he thought someone spoke to him. If you would give to him, take your gift. Secretly give it to a poor child to remind him of Christmas. So that is what the boy had done. He had taken the whistle to give it secretly. But there were many poor children, and he had only one gift. The story meant more to old Nick than to the boy. With only a word to the child, he started home, leaving the boy thinking he must have offended the old man and wondering why. But this was because he did not know the gift he had given old Nick. The Christmas deer knew. In his workshop, Nick surveyed the figures he had carved long ago. They no longer looked worthless. Into a great bag he began placing them. the figures of the children, those of the animals, and all of the others. One by one, he took them from their resting places. He did not stop until the shelves were bare. Only the clock was not in the big, bulging bag. Only the clock and the Christmas scene remained. The Christmas scene without a baby Jesus. Putting on his heaviest coat, the old man took the bag and left. What happened then, we can only guess from stories of the strange sky that night, with its oddly bright stars casting an almost mystic glow over the landscape. Many villagers told of seeing a deer pulling a sleigh, while a man in a red coat took presents to each door. Through the years, the stories grew to one of a loaded sleigh, pulled by many deer, led by a particularly magnificent deer. But it is hard to be sure what people did see in the starlight, though it is easy to believe what must have happened. For when the old man returned to his workshop, the great bag was empty. Yet he no longer felt alone as he knelt before the Christmas scene to pray he could make even better gifts for more children before the next Christmas season came. He raised his eyes. Among his figures of Christmas was the figure of a baby Jesus. It seemed to fill the room and to promise Nick's prayer would be answered. And that is the story of the Christmas deer, for those who can believe more than what they see.
Unto Bethlehem many years ago, where the baby lay, went the Christmas deer. On that holy night went the Christmas deer.
Grace, you see the extension cord?
And for Christmas, I'd like a big doll.
Mom, can we make popcorn?
Grace, you see the tree lights?
And I'd like some skates.
Where's the popcorn?
Grace, where's that extra box of tinsel?
Good grief, George. You forgot to hang Granny Matilda's crystal castle.
And I'd like a slime ring.
Grace, did she say a slime ring?
Yes, she did, George.
Whoa!
Well, we do not skateboard in the living room.
Okay, Dad.
Lucy wants a slime ring because last year I got one.
Should we allow our kids to play with slime rings?
I should say not. What are they?
They're, what are they?
Oh, I love Christmas.
Don't you think it's time for bed, young lady?
Oh.
Now, Grace, it's not like it's Christmas every day.
Oh, good idea, Dad. I'll ask for Christmas every day, forever and ever.
Fine, you do... No, don't.
No, dear.
Not Christmas every day,
Oh, why not?
It's so great, Dad.
Because you may get it, that's why.
Oh,
Come on, Dad. You're so silly.
Your father's right. Just don't make that wish, Lucy. That's all.
But why? What's the matter with it?
Yeah, why?
I guess you better tell them the story, George.
What story?
You're right, Grace. It'll make the perfect story on Christmas Eve. Okay, gather round, gang. Here we go.
Oh, this is going to be Dad. neat.
Here, George, you'll need the crystal castle ornament to tell it properly.
Isn't that the ornament that belonged to Granny Matilda?
Right.
She lived in this very same house, didn't she?
About 100 years ago.
What was it like then, Dad?
Yeah.
Well, it was very much like it is today, especially on Christmas Eve. and especially when the family was gathered in this very same living room.
Watching TV?
Yes, watching no, there were no TVs back then.
Listening to radio, I bet.
Yes, listening to the no radio, too early.
What did they do then?
They stood around the piano singing Christmas carols.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was
And
born
so
on
it happened on this
Christmas Day.
particular Christmas Eve night. Merry Christmas, my wonderful family!
Hi, Father!
Your great-grandpa Pete returned from another of his long trips, loaded down with gifts to put under the tree. And one very special one to hang on the tree.
Oh, Father, it's so beautiful.
It comes from a place far away, Princess.
What is it?
It's a magic crystal castle from the North Pole.
Why is it magical?
Because, well, I'm told if you make a wish, the Christmas fairy who lives inside the castle just might make your wish come true.
Really, Father?
Oh, sure.
I'll bet sure.
Enough of that nonsense, Pete. Everyone into the library for eggnog and popcorn. Come on.
Matilda, or Tilly as she was called then, loved the magic crystal castle. First, she hung it on the tree, and then, what do you think she did?
Made a wish?
Right.
I wish it would be Christmas every day, forever and ever. Oh.
Is there someone here who wished for Christmas every day, forever and ever? Oh, stop. I'm down already.
I did.
Really? Well, did you really mean it?
Oh, yes.
But if I make it Christmas every day, you'll have nothing to look forward to.
I'll look forward to it every day.
Oh, my. And if I grant your wish for Christmas every day forever and ever, there's no ungranting it.
Wonderful. I love Christmas.
Oh, my. Well, in that case, you may have Christmas every day, but only for a year, I think. And then we'll see about having it longer.
But a year's hardly any time at all.
Oh, my. Trust me on this one, kid.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, and thank you, ma'am.
Well, toodles.
Oh, Merry Christmas, ma'am.
Oh, how very nice of you. Thank you. And a Merry Christmas to you. Every single day of the next year.
Tilly, what are you doing in there?
You'll never guess what happened, Mother.
What?
Oh, nothing.
But something did happen that Christmas Eve.
And Father will tell you what happened after we all get into our pajamas.
Is it good?
Well,
Is it bad?
What?
you'll see.
Come on, let's go. Let's get out of
Get in
here.
your jammies, everyone.
Did Tilly get her wish, Dad?
Everybody in their jammies?
Wait for me. Now tell us what happened to Granny Matilda.
Well, Tilly awoke that morning with eyes like muffins and a pounding head.
It's Christmas! It's Christmas! 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 Yay! It's Christmas! Oh,
Wait until they get what I have.
And there it was, laid out on the library table. And under the tree were books and portfolios, boxes of stationery, jewelry, and dozens of handkerchiefs and ink pens and snow shovels and photograph frames and dollhouses and little easels and boxes of watercolors and...
Candy! Candy! Candy!
What a nice tie.
What a nice dress.
Oh, what a beautiful doll!
Pete, isn't it time for the surprise?
The, what?
The special surprise.
Oh, yes, the special, what special surprise?
Pete, the basket. Just get the basket.
Oh, yes, the basket. Well, family, this gift will demand a great deal of responsibility on the part of you children. And,
A puppy! A puppy! Yippee! A puppy! I'll name him Rover.
Who's going to have to take care of Rover?
it was a wonderful Christmas. They ate a huge lunch of turkey and stuffing and yams and oranges and cranberry sauce and rice pudding and tapioca and Christmas cookies and Christmas cakes and Christmas candy.
Oh, my tummy.
Well, we'll see if we turn this house into such a sideshow next year. And that night, the whole family slept heavily and slept very late into the next morning.
It's Christmas! It's Christmas! 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 What nonsense! It was Christmas yesterday.
Well, it's Christmas again. Come down to the library and see.
Oh.
Gee, what a nice tie. It looks so familiar.
What a nice... Now, I'm sure I received something like this before.
Oh, what a nice dress. I need all the clothes I can get. Oh, what a beautiful doll.
Pete, isn't it time for the surprise?
What?
You know, the special surprise we planned.
The special surprise we planned?
Behind you, the basket.
Oh, of course. Again? Well, family, this gift will demand a great deal of responsibility on the part of all you children.
A puppy! A puppy! Yippee! A puppy! I'll name this one Spot.
Who's going to have to take care of Spot and Rover?
Yes, the second day of Christmas was just like the day before.
Oh.
Well, children, we'll see if we turn this house into such a sideshow next year. That night, the family slept very heavily, and in the morning slept very late. And then, just like on the first and the second day, it happened again.
It's Christmas! It's Christmas! 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 Christmas!
Don't be ridiculous. It was Christmas yesterday. And the day before.
Well, it's Christmas again today. Come see. It's Christmas. It's Christmas again.
Well, just as you might expect, the third day of Christmas was very much like the first and the second. Oh, another tie. That's very...
Nice dress, but couldn't you have at least gotten me a different color this time?
Oh, what a surprise. A doll.
Isn't it time for the basket?
What?
The surprise.
What surprise would that be?
The,
Oh, the basket. Well, family, this gift will demand...
A great deal of responsibility.
Right.
Bye.
Well, Christmas every day went on day after day and week after week, and people were getting pretty fed up. And keeping it a secret that it was her fault was really getting to Tilly.
Mother, I have something to tell you.
yes, dear.
If I ever find out who was the cause of all of this...
You were saying, Tilly, dear.
Oh, never mind.
Now, don't think it was just Christmas every day at Granny Matilda's house.
Oh, brother.
And so on it went, on and on. It was Christmas on Lincoln's birthday. It was Christmas on Washington's birthday. It was Christmas on Easter. It was still Christmas on April Fool's Day.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
And even Christmas turkeys skyrocketed.
How much?
$5,000.
For a hummingbird?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cranberries were a diamond apiece. The woods and orchards were now just fields of stumps. In fact, they ran out of trees completely and had to make them out of other things.
Get your rag trees here. Get your ragtag Christmas trees here.
Well, by 6 months, Tilly couldn't even cry anymore. By 7 months, she began to sit on any doll that crossed her path. French, porcelain, Raggedy Ann dolls, any kind. She had so many she couldn't stand the sight of them and threw them across the room.
Go away.
In fact, everyone was flinging presents around.
I name you number 210. Or is it 212?
And everyone had to build barns or sheds behind their houses to hold all their presents.
Ow! If you don't shovel your presents off the public access here, I'll have to arrest you and put you in jail.
I'll shovel, I'll shovel. And the townspeople had sung the Christmas song so much that they had all lost their voices.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
People were now giving each other rags for presents because there was nothing left in the stores to buy. It's a very nice rag, thank you.
Oh, boy. Another rag.
They got so poor that everybody had to go to the poorhouse.
Me first.
But the poorhouses got so full they had to send the people back to their own homes.
Me first.
If I ever find out whose fault this is...
This is the worst thing that's ever happened.
I'd like to get my hands on him.
Christmas fairy? I know you said you can't ungrant a wish once it's been granted, but what if the wish wasn't a good wish to have wished for in the first place? Then will you let the wisher take the wish back and ask for another wish in exchange? Oh, I wish I'd never asked for Christmas every day. Oh, please, Christmas fairy. Please hear me, please. Christmas fairy, are you there? And did the Christmas fairy hear her, Daddy?
Well, she might have heard, but she never appeared.
What happen next?
Halloween.
I love Halloween.
Well, so did Tilly, but this Halloween wasn't like any other Halloween.
Trick or treat! Well, at least things couldn't get any worse.
Well, actually, the worst was yet to come. The day that had always been Tilly's own special hers alone day finally arrived.
All right, let's all sing happy birthday to dear little Matilda, who we all love so very, very much. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, dear Matilda. Merry Christmas to you.
Well, if there was anything that broke her spirit completely, it was Tilly's birthday. She decided to go to bed and stay there till the rest of the year was over.
Christmas Fairy, if you can hear me, please listen. Unwish my Christmas wish. Look, I promise I'll never wish for anything ever again. I'll help my mother with the dishes. I'll walk all 239 dogs. And I'll even be nice to my sister Franny for a whole 3 months. But please, stop making it be Christmas!
It's your fault it's Christmas every day. Your fault, Mama!
And Franny, never one to keep a secret, didn't.
What's it say?
It's Tilly's fault!
When the townspeople found out, they walked by the house and ignored her. Well, even her friends wouldn't play with her anymore.
Hi, Anna. Hi, Betty. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Johnny.
Even none of the 240 dogs would have anything to do with her.
Fetch number 229.
Tilly was so very depressed and so sure that no one anywhere loved her anymore, she decided there was only one thing left to do.
I'm running away, Mrs. Jones.
Good.
And so the little girl who wished for Christmas every day decided to run away from home, never to return ever again.
Gee, Daddy, when Grandma Tilly decided to run away from home, wasn't she scared?
Oh, sure, very scared. But she didn't get very far, because guess who caught up with her right in front of Fletcher's barber shop?
Her mom and dad?
Right.
Tilly, dear, why are you running away?
Because it's my fault. I asked for it to be Christmas every day.
Every day for how long?
Forever and ever.
Forever. Forever and ever?
Well, actually, the Christmas fairy said I could have it for a year and then she'd see.
Well, when the year's up, tell her that'll be just enough, thank you.
But what if the fairy forgets about me and never comes back? What if it never stops being Christmas?
Well, we'll just have to hope for the best and stick it out as bravely as we can.
Even though everyone hates me for what I did.
Tilly, we're your family. We love you.
Yes.
And we'll stand by you no matter what. Isn't that right, children? Children.
Yeah.
But at last it came to good old once-a-year Christmas night.
Please, Christmas fairy, the year is finally over. Let it be just a normal day tomorrow.
And when Tilly woke up that next morning, the Christmases finally were over. There was a great celebration all over the country. People hugged and kissed and cried for joy. Oh, Helen, isn't it wonderful? It's not?
Don't say it.
And the garbage men collected all the boxes and trees and tinsel and wrappings, and they squashed them down into smaller versions of themselves, and then they buried them. And all the people at celebration bonfires with their unwanted presents, and they had a grand old time. And everyone, of course, forgave Tilly and never mentioned the incident again.
Oh, thank you, Christmas fairy. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, Tilly, I've been thinking about what you said, and I'm ready to make it Christmas forever and ever.
Oh, no. I wish you'd make sure there's never a Christmas again. Never, never, never.
Oh, my. That's your wish?
Well, how about once in 1,000 years?
Oh.
100 years? I know, every 10 years.
Very well. I hereby declare it will only be Christmas every...
Wait, maybe we should leave it Christmas once a year. Everyone seemed to be happy with that, and I had something to look forward to. And it's important to have things to look forward to, don't you think?
Oh, my, yes. Well, until next year at this time, Merry Christmas, Tilly dear.
And toodaloo. Oh, Daddy, you make up the best stories.
That's right, I make up the best. No, this all really happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Daddy, really?
Well, believe what you wish. But remember, if you wish for what you believe you want, you...
Just might get it.
Okay, now, time for bed, everyone.
Aww.
Hey, the sooner you close those peepers, the sooner you wake up to...
Christmas!
That's right, children.
One
Don't make
more.
a lovely
Everyone
evening.
take
Come
your
on,
time.
kids,
Come
let's
on.
go.
Up to bed, up
Well,
to
we have
bed.
a lot to do tomorrow.
Oh, it was just my imagination. Still, I wish...
Remember, if you wish for what you believe you want, you just might...
get it.
I wish I was in bed right now, dreaming of how wonderful tomorrow is going to be. Oh, well. Merry Christmas anyway, Christmas Fairy.
Merry Christmas, Lucy, dear, and sweet dreams.
Wow! Night, Daddy.
Night, honey. Huh?
Pleasant dreams, dearie. And a Merry Christmas to all of you.
The night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder, and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all! As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of the pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Every year, when the first snow falls, the kids on our block build a snowman. This year, we made him especially big and strong and handsome. You see, we needed a tree, not an ordinary park tree, but a Christmas tree. And we figured there was only one way we could get one, a letter to Santa, to be delivered by Spunky, our snowman. And that called for a big send-off. As everyone knows, by day, snowmen are, well, only snowmen. But at night, it's different. And the first thing that Spunky did, after he sneezed, that is, was to look at the envelope, which he couldn't read. "But I know it's up north somewhere," he said. And off he started, with Jeff leading the way. It was along about midnight when Spunky came to the edge of the woods, just about the scariest time of night. Even for foxes. Where are you going? Asked the owl. To find Santa and bring back a present for the kids on the block. You see, it's to be given to the bearer of this letter. Oh, yes, it's very valuable. That's why I'm taking it to him, special delivery. Special delivery to Santa. Spunky and Jeff went on their way, never dreaming that the fox and the owl had plans of their own. Why don't we get the letter and keep the present for ourselves? Spunky was surprised to see the owl again. Come back! But then the owl dropped the letter. And everybody scrambled to get it. No, you don't, cried Spunky. But with one long leap, the fox had it. Jeff was about to overtake the fox. But the owl still had the bucket. That will take care of you, he said. But Jeff was soon after them again. As for Spunky, he never stopped running, even to pick up his hat. And by now, the owl and the fox were far ahead, but they were stopped by a wolf.
Where are you two taking that letter?
Santa.
Hand it over. I'll take it to him.
By the time Jeff caught up with them, they were at it tooth, beak, and claw. And the letter was just lying there. Jeff had a very good plan. But just when he got to the letter, they saw him. And now all three were after him. Spunky was still running when Jeff brought him the letter. But now he wasn't going to let anyone get it away from him again. Till then, Jeff had no idea of how fast Spunky really could run. He couldn't even see him anymore. And he didn't notice the bear either.
What do you mean by waking me up in the middle of the winter?
But when Spunky told him what had happened, the bear said he would take them to Santa himself. And so they started out together, not realizing they were being followed. The bear knew all the shortcuts. But poor Spunky, he hadn't looked where he was going. And he came down in 9 different places, not counting the letter to Santa. And while Spunky's friends were putting him back together again, the three crept nearer and nearer.
There, you're just as good as new again.
Said the bear, but it was too late. The fox had the letter and was heading straight for Santa. Spunky could never get there in time now. The hares and squirrels scattered as the fox sprang forward to deliver the letter to Santa.
Well, well, said Santa, a special delivery.
While Santa was reading the letter, Spunky arrived.
You see, Santa, this letter is really from the kids on our block. It was stolen by those 3 over there,
said Jeff. As they started to slink away, Santa puffed up his cheeks and blew them back into the woods. When Spunky turned around, there was his Christmas tree, the most beautiful in the land.
Santa lent Spunky a sled and one of his personal reindeers to deliver the tree. And that's how it was that when the sun arose the following day, Spunky, Jeff, and the Christmas tree were all there waiting for us in the park. That night we held the biggest celebration. And our guest of honor was Spunky the Snowman.
Once upon a time, oh, many, many years ago, as time is calculated by men, there was in paradise a most miserable, thoroughly unhappy, and utterly dejected cherub, who was known throughout heaven as the littlest angel. He was exactly 4 years, 6 months, 5 days, 7 hours, and 42 minutes of age when he presented himself to the venerable for entrance to the glorious kingdom of God. Standing defiantly, with his short brown legs wide apart, the littlest angel tried to pretend that he wasn't at all afraid. But his lower lip trembled, and a tear disgraced him by rolling down to the very tip of his small, freckled nose. But that wasn't all. While the kindly gatekeeper was entering the name in his great book, the littlest angel, having left home as usual without a handkerchief, endeavored to hide the telltale evidence by snuffing, which so unnerved the good gatekeeper that he did something he had never done before in all eternity. He blotted the page. From that moment on, the littlest angel became the despair of all the heavenly host. Whenever the heavenly choir held singing practice, he inevitably spoiled its ethereal effect by singing off-key. And at nightly prayers, the littlest angel always arrived late, knocking everyone's wings askew as he darted into his place. Besides, the general appearance of the littlest angel was even worse than his deportment. It was whispered among the seraphim and cherubim that he didn't even look like an angel, and they were quite correct. He didn't. For one thing, he was always running, holding onto his halo with one hot, chubby little hand, which made his halo permanently tarnished. Furthermore, even when he stood very still, it never behaved as a halo should. It was always slipping down over his right eye or over his left eye. Yes, and it must be here recorded that his wings were neither useful nor ornamental. Everyone in paradise held his breath when the littlest angel perched himself like an unhappy fledgling sparrow and prepared to take off. He would teeter this way and that way, and then finally he would shut his eyes, hold his freckled nose, and hurl himself slowly into space. However, owing to the regrettable fact that he always forgot to move his wings, the littlest angel always fell head over halo. Now, anyone can easily understand why the littlest angel would have to be disciplined. And so, on an eternal day in the year eternal, he was directed by a cherub to present his small self before an angel of the peace. And then, with a heavy heart, he trudged his way to the place of judgment. As he slowly approached the great doorway, he was surprised to hear a merry voice singing. The littlest angel breathed upon his halo, then polished it upon his almost clean robe, and then tiptoed in. The singer, who is known as the understanding angel, looked down at the small culprit, and the littlest angel instantly tried to make himself invisible, very much like a snapping turtle. At that, the singer laughed and said, "Oh, so you're the one who's been making heaven so unheavenly. Come here, cherub, and tell me all about it." The littlest angel ventured a furtive look, first one eye, and then the other eye. Suddenly, almost before he knew it, he was explaining how very difficult it was for a boy who suddenly finds himself transformed into an angel. "Yes," said the understanding angel, "but what was this talk about swinging on the golden gates?" Well, he had, you recall, swung once. Well, twice. Oh, all right then. He'd swung 3 times on the golden gates. But that was just for something to do. That was the whole trouble. There wasn't anything for a small angel to do. And he was very homesick. Oh, not that paradise wasn't beautiful, but the earth was beautiful too. Wasn't it created by God himself? "Why," said the littlest angel, "there were trees to climb, and brooks to fish, and caves to play at pirate chief, and the swimming hole, and sun, and rain, and dark, and dawn, and the thick brown dust so soft and warm beneath your feet." The understanding angel smiled, an understanding smile. Then he asked the littlest angel what would make him most happy in paradise. The cherub thought for a moment and whispered in his ear, "There's a box. I left it under my bed back home. If only I could have that." "You shall have it," he promised. And at once, he dispatched fleet-winged heavenly messengers to bring the box from earth to paradise. And then, in all those timeless days that followed, everyone wondered at the great change in the littlest angel. Among all the cherubs in God's kingdom, he was the most happy. His conduct was above the slightest reproach. His halo was always on straight. His robe was clean. And on excursions to Elysian fields, it could be said, and truly said, that he flew like an angel. Then it came to pass that glorious tidings spread through paradise. Jesus, the Son of God, was to be born of Mary in Bethlehem. The angels rejoiced, and their voices were lifted to herald the coming of the Christ child. The angels and archangels, the seraphim and cherubim, the gatekeeper, the wingmaker, yes, and even the halo smith, put aside their usual tasks to prepare their gifts for the blessed infant. All but the littlest angel. he sat himself down on the topmost step of the golden stairs and meditated. What kind of gift could he offer to the child of God? First, he dreamed of composing a lyric hymn of adoration. But the littlest angel was woefully wanting in musical talent. Then he thought of writing a prayer. But the littlest angel was lamentably lacking in literate skill. What could a small angel give that would please the Holy Infant? And then suddenly, the littlest angel had an idea, a wonderful idea for a gift. And so, on that day of days, the birthday of the Christ child, the littlest angel proudly brought his gift from its hiding place behind a cloud and humbly placed it before the throne of God. It was only a little box, a small, rough, unsightly box, lying among all those other glorious gifts from all the angels of paradise. Gifts of such breathless beauty that heaven and all the universe were lighted by the mere reflection of their glory. And when the littlest angel saw this, he knew that his gift to God's child was a shabby gift indeed. He devoutly wished he might reclaim it. It was ugly, it was worthless. If only he could hide it from the sight of God before it was even noticed. But it was too late. The hand of God moved over all that bright array of shining gifts, then paused, then dropped, then came to rest on the lowly gift of the littlest angel. And what was his gift to the blessed infant? Well, there was a butterfly with golden wings, captured one bright summer day, and a sky blue egg from a bird's nest in the apple tree that shaded his mother's kitchen door. Yes, and 2 white stones found on a muddy riverbank, and at the bottom of the box, the limp and tooth-marked leather collar of his faithful mongrel dog. The littlest angel wept hot, bitter tears, for now he knew that instead of honoring the Son of God, he had been most blasphemous. Why had he ever thought that such utterly useless things would be loved by the blessed infant? In frantic terror, he turned to run and hide from the divine wrath of the Heavenly Father. But he stumbled and fell, and with a horrified wail and clatter of halo, rolled to the very foot of the heavenly throne. All through the celestial city, there was an ominous and dreadful silence, except for the heartbroken sobbing of the littlest angel. Then, suddenly, the voice of God rose and swelled through paradise, saying, "Of all the gifts of all the angels, I find that this small box pleases me most. Its contents are of the earth and of men. And my son is born to be king of both. I accept this gift in the name of the child Jesus, born of Mary this night in Bethlehem." There was a breathless pause. And then the rough, unsightly box of the littlest angel began to glow with a bright, unearthly light. Then the light became a flame, and the flame became a radiant brilliance. None but the littlest angel saw it rise from its place before the throne of God. And he, and only he, watched it arch the firmament high above the earth to shed its beckoning light over a stable where a child was born. There it shone on that night of miracles, and its light was reflected deep in the heart of all mankind. And on the earth, men of good will, blinded by its splendor, could never know that the lowly gift of the littlest angel was what they would call forever the shining star of Bethlehem.
Hi, everybody. This is Skip Elsheimer. I'm pre-recording my Christmas show, and this is a 3-hour show. Includes some stuff I've shown in the past and some new stuff, some stuff from my collection, some stuff from the Prelinger collection, stuff from other places. But hopefully it'll be something that you can sit, drink your coffee, relax after opening gifts, and watch some stuff about Christmas. I very much appreciate you guys tuning in over the year, and I look forward to watching more films with you in the new year. So I'll be back live tomorrow. But everybody have a great rest of your day today. Merry Christmas, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Into a city of Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin espoused to a man named Joseph of the house of David. And the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel said to her, Fear not, Mary, for behold, thou shalt bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus.
Then sing we all, both great and small, Noel, Noel.
And Mary said, Behold the handmaid of the Lord, be it done unto me according to thy word. And the angel departed.
Believest thou the angel, O Mary, tell us true? What answer gavest thou, Gabriel, of joy for that ye knew? The Lord of heaven be praised, both now and evermore. Let songs of joy be raised, come hither and adore.
Now all this was done, that it might be fulfilled which the Lord spoke by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel.
Rejoice!
Now in those days there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that the whole world should be enrolled. And all went, everyone into his own city. And it came to pass that when they were there, she brought forth her firstborn son and laid him in a manger. And there were in the same country shepherds, keeping the night watches over their flocks.
While shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground, the angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. Fear not, said he, for mighty dread had seized their troubled mind. Glad tidings of great joy I bring to you and all mankind. To you in David's house this day is born a David's line, a Savior who is Christ the Lord, and this shall be the sign. The heavenly maidens there shall find to human view display, all meekly wrapped in swaddling bands, and in a manger.
And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying,
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing.
And the shepherds said one to another, "Let us go over to Bethlehem and see this word that has come to pass."
To Bethlehem straight the happy shepherds ran, to see the wonder God had wrought for man, and found with Joseph and the blessed maid, their son the Savior in a manger laid.
When Jesus therefore was born in Bethlehem of Judah in the days of King Herod, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to adore him."
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star.
And falling down, they adored him, and offered him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But when Herod was dead, an angel appeared in sleep to Joseph in Egypt, saying, "Arise and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead that sought the life of the child." And coming, he dwelt in a city called Nazareth. And the child grew and waxed strong, full of wisdom, and the grace of God was in him.
It is Christmas Eve. The melody of a Christmas carol fills the still night in a village in Europe. It is Christmas Eve. The same song comes from a church, small town in America. For nearly 150 years, in many parts of the world, people have been singing this carol. It is the song we call Silent Night. Who wrote this beloved song? Where did it come from? For the answer, we must go to Europe. It was here, in Austria, in the little village of Oberndorf, that the song was written. If we should go there today, we'd find the town of Oberndorf in the province of Salzburg. Here, we can trace the history of the song. Not far from the church of St. Nicholas, in the village, is a chapel built by the people of Oberndorf. Inside the chapel, the story of Silent Night is told in two portraits of stained glass. One is of Father Moore, the village priest who wrote the words of the song. His friend was Franz Gruber, the teacher and choir master who composed the music of Silent Night. For the story of the two men and the song they wrote, we must go back a long time. We must go back a century and a half. It is the year 1818, in the holiday season, the Christmas season. In the village, it is the time of age-old Christmas customs. Groups of girls are visiting each house, carrying with them a painting of Mary and Joseph. Boys representing the shepherds of Bethlehem come to the houses caroling. They are collecting gifts of food for the poor. The story they tell in song is one that never loses interest, for it is the story of the first Christmas. And the same story will be told again in the Christmas Eve service in the church. But on this afternoon, the door of the church stands open, and all is still. Inside, the choirmaster, Franz Gruber, has discovered that the organ is broken. He will not be able to play, and Father Moore will have no music for his Christmas Eve service. And what would Christmas Eve be without music in the church? The problem was one for Father Moore, but he was not here. He had gone away to visit a family in a mountain cabin. As he walked along, his thoughts were on the preparations for the coming of Christmas. His path took him ever upward, along the snowy slopes. Above him was the forest, dark against the gleaming snow. From below came the faint and musical sounds of a mountain stream. And all about him was the quiet beauty of God's world. It was evening when he reached the house. At the door, he received a warm and friendly welcome. And there before him lay a baby with his mother. Perhaps as he watched, Father Moore may have thought of another child, the Christ child, lying in the manger. It was night when Father Moore started back to the village. In the moonlight, the mountain slope lay still and calm. It was a beautiful night, a holy night. Father Moore thought of many things. The child he had seen, the beauty of the night, the Christmas soon to come. And so it was, as some say, that on his return to the village, Father Moore wrote a poem. The words seemed to come quickly and easily. Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht. Silent night, holy night. Even as he wrote, the priest wondered whether the poem could be set to music. Father Moore decided to take it to Franz Gruber. The two friends, priest and schoolteacher, talked it over together. The schoolteacher began to read. Silent night, holy night. Why, this was a poem that was meant for Christmas. Father Moore wondered, could the words be set to music? Of course, Franz Gruber would compose a melody. Perhaps they would have some music for their Christmas Eve service after all. The words themselves seemed to suggest the melody, a simple melody, one that Franz Gruber first played on his guitar. And so it was that the song two men had written was presented for the first time in 1818 at the Christmas Eve service in the village church. Christmas was over, and in the days that followed, no one outside the village knew about the song. With the first hint of spring, an organ mender from a village in the Tyrol came to Oberndorf. The children knew that at last someone had come to fix the broken organ in their church. And indeed, it was not very long before the old craftsman had put the instrument into working order. Now, he said to the choir master, you try it. And so Franz Gruber sat down and began to play the Christmas song he had written some weeks before. The organ mender listened and remembered. All the way back to his own village, the organ mender thought of the lovely words and simple melody. And when at last he reached the hill overlooking his own village, and some children came to meet him, he taught them the song he had learned. Down the hill ran the children, and with them went the song, Silent Night. For some years, the song was known only in such villages, tucked away in the snug valleys of the Alps. But finally, it found its way to St. Peter's Abbey in Salzburg. And from the city of Salzburg in Austria, the song was eventually carried to other places in Europe. To Paris, to London, and then to places in America, to the cities, and to the small town. Today, Silent Night is a song that belongs to everyone.
Sandy. Yes, hurry up. I am hurrying.
She can't hurry too fast. This part has to be done very carefully. There, I think you have it. How do you like it? Isn't that beautiful? Oh, you've done such a wonderful job. I'm glad you girls decided to work on this project. You know, this is more than just pieces of cardboard that have been cut out and put here. This nativity scene will remind us of a wonderful event, the birth of Jesus. But I have a special reason for being glad that you wanted to do this. You know, in the rush of trimming the Christmas tree and shopping from store to store trying to figure out what gifts we can give, I'm afraid we sometimes forget the most important gift of all.
What's that, Mrs. Howard?
I'm not going to tell you what that gift is. I'm going to let you think about it this next week.
Won't you even give us a hint?
Yes, I'll give you some hints, but the rest will be up to you. Are you ready? Well, the first one has to do with our nativity scene here, the birth of Jesus. And here's the next hint. It won't cost you any money to give this gift. And the person to whom you give it might say, this makes me very happy. And the last hint is the most mysterious of all. You might give this gift I'm talking about and not even know that you're doing it. And the people to whom you give it might give the gift right back to you.
Why would they give it back? Does that mean they wouldn't like the gift?
Now, no more clues. See if you can't solve the puzzle during the coming week. All right, girls, that's all.
Bye, Mrs. Howard.
Goodbye, honey.
Goodbye, Mrs. Howard. It has to do with the birth of Jesus, and it doesn't cost any money, and the one you give it to might give it right back to you. That sure is hard to figure out.
I'm sure if you think real hard, you'll get it.
Bye, Mrs. Howard.
Goodbye, honey.
See who that is, will you, honey?
Okay, Mom. Who is it?
Me, Daddy. Open up, will you, honey?
Hi, Daddy.
Head me into the living room, will you, Sandy?
You look so funny, Daddy. What's in all the packages?
I'll tell you in a minute, honey. Wait till I get this stuff unloaded. Phew. I thought for a minute there I wasn't going to make it. Guess I should have made 2 trips.
Are all these presents?
Well, Adam, what in the world have you been doing, buying out a store?
Don't worry, honey. I didn't buy them. They were given to me.
Oh.
I asked all the boys at the plant to bring in any old toys their children might have so we could fix them up and give them to the welfare committee.
Oh, that's wonderful. These will make a lot of children happy.
They made me chairman of the committee.
Oh.
Besides, I don't like to see any little girl without a doll or any little boy without a truck. And this is one way we can help.
Can I give some of mine, too, Daddy?
You sure can, honey. You just pick out any toy you'd like to give and let me know if it needs fixing up. Want to help me with these?
I'd love to, Daddy. Where will we do it?
In the basement? Shall we take them down now?
Oh, no, you don't. Supper's ready. If I let you get down there, I won't get you back till bedtime.
How do you like that? Your mother's interfering with the wheels of progress.
No, she's not. She's just keeping a perfectly good dinner from going bad. Come on.
Come on, honey.
How much does it cost to fix these toys?
Oh, I don't know, honey. I never gave it much thought. The toys are needed. That's the important thing. Why?
I'm trying to think of a special gift.
You mean something for Mother?
No, something else. Sort of a riddle. I have to figure it out by myself.
Oh. Hey, looks like I lost my helper tonight.
Well, you can't have her all the time. I need it sometimes, too, you know.
I promised Mom I'd help her make some Christmas cookies, but I'll be done pretty soon.
Oh, okay. You go right ahead. But if you need anyone to test those cookies, I'll be in the basement.
Okay. Christmas is a wonderful time, isn't it? It's even better than it was when I was real little.
Yes, darling. And as you grow older and learn more and more about Jesus and the celebration of his birth at Christmas time, it'll mean even more then.
Oh, Mom, Mom, we finished our manger scene at church, and I got to hang the star.
Oh, that's wonderful. I must be sure to see it. Mrs. Howard's invited me to visit your class several times. This would be a good time to do it, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Please do.
You're fortunate to have Mrs. Howard as a teacher.
I know. We have so much fun in our class.
Now, we'll give these 10 minutes. I don't want them to burn.
Mom,
Yes, darling.
how much does it cost to make these cookies every year?
Honey, I never really counted the cost. I don't know. Why do you ask?
I'm trying to figure out something. Last week in church, Mrs. Howard was talking about a gift. She didn't say what it was, but she gave us some ideas.
Oh, that sounds exciting. You need some help?
Supposed to figure it out by herself.
Well, what did she say about it?
Well, she said it doesn't cost any money, and it's always welcome, and it has to do with Christmas. And the one you give it to, it makes them so happy that they might even give it back to you.
Oh, well, that's a puzzler, isn't it? What do you suppose it is?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, when you find out what it is, be sure and tell me, won't you?
I will.
You know, I have an idea. How would you like to have our nativity scene in your own room this year?
Oh, Mom, could I? I'll make a star, just like the one I made at church.
Sure there aren't any more burnt or broken ones?
Here's one that's absolutely perfect.
It's not. The head's off.
Well, it tastes just as good, doesn't it? There we are. All 196 of them.
You mean you counted them?
No, Sandy did. She's certainly been busy today. I sent her to bed early thinking she'd be tired. But when I went up for our good night talk and prayers, she was busy setting up the nativity scene.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. Star and all. Right by her bed. You know, she's beginning to understand the real meaning of Christmas, too.
Mrs. Howard's been a great help to her. She's a very fine teacher.
I wonder what all that mystery is about the Christmas gift. Sandy tell you about that?
Yes, she did. She's determined to figure it out for herself.
Well, she better hurry, then. She's only got 2 more days to do it. Did you say 195 cookies?
No, 196. And you stay out of them.
Has to do with the birth of Jesus. It doesn't cost any money. And it'll make folks happy. And they might even give it back. I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is.
Well, there they are, all ready to go.
Oh, I just can't believe it. They look like new. Well, you've done a wonderful job, Phil.
I had a good helper.
Oh, they'll make a lot of children happy. That reminds me. I have to call the committee and see if they have any new names and addresses to add to my cookie list.
Did you put down 127 Walnut Street?
That's our address, Daddy.
Oh, pardon me.
We'd better get those cookies delivered in a hurry. They're all finished, dear, except for the ones you wanted saved. And I left you some frosting for them.
Okay, Mom, but promise me you and Dad won't come in the kitchen. I have a special reason.
I promise. We'll be in the living room if you want us.
More secrets?
I'm afraid so. It's Christmas, you know. Do you want me to help you carry some of these up?
No, we better leave them down here till tomorrow. They'll be out of the way, and besides, they're not quite dry yet.
All right. Oh, they're wonderful.
Ready? Here I come. I made it especially for you. One for each of you.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Why, they're beautiful. Oh, this makes me very happy.
Mama?
What's the matter?
I think I know the special gift Mrs. Howard was talking about. It fits the clues and everything. It's love. I'm sure it is. The gift of love.
How'd you figure that out?
Mrs. Howard said the one who receives the gift might say, "This makes me very happy." And that's just what Mommy said. She says the gift might come back. And love does, doesn't it?
It sure does, honey. The more we love, the more love we have. It's a gift that can be given again and again and never run out of. Christmas gifts we only give at Christmas time. But the gift of love is the most wonderful gift of all. You can give it any time.
Yes, it's the gift God gave us all at Christmas time. He loved us so much, he sent us his own son as our Savior. He taught us to love not just at Christmas time, but all year round.
The gift of love. I figured it out. Wait till I tell Mrs. Howard. The gift of love.
New fallen snow, a still, wintry night, a home with gleaming lights. These things are part of Christmas today, as they were yesterday. Let's go back to Grandfather's house for Christmas, a Christmas near the end of the last century. Grandpa Bradford's place is a big, comfortable farmhouse with plenty of room for all the Bradfords. Grandma Bradford has been busy for days preparing for the family reunion. Seems like there's no end of cooking and baking to be done for Christmas dinner tomorrow. Grandma's eldest daughter, Alice, does the more creative work in the family, like making ornaments for the Christmas tree. Old-fashioned ornaments for an old-fashioned Christmas. Today, the kitchen is the center of activity. But tomorrow, the parlor will ring with the shouts of Bradford grandchildren around the tree. The family reunion has already begun. John, the youngest son, arrived this afternoon from the city.
There's no place like home.
It was a long ride on the train, almost 8 hours. It's good to be home, in the midst of familiar sights and sounds.
There, that ought to hold you till morning.
I should think so. Now, what about the parlor?
The wood's in the fireplace. I light the fire first thing in the morning, right after milking.
Alice like to freeze out there trimming that Christmas tree. Alice?
Yes, Mother?
Did you find the store ornaments?
Yeah, I've got the candles and candle holders and everything. I'll be finished with the tree pretty soon.
Family and home and Christmas Eve. A time for sharing love. A time for being together. Tomorrow, the rest of the Bradford children and grandchildren will come. But now comes the quiet time, before the big day. No Christmas Eve would be complete without Grandpa reading the Bible account of the first Christmas.
And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day, in the city of David, a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And there shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
Christmas morning, and as usual, good old Major pulls Dave Bradford and his young family to the Bradford farm where Dave was born. They're the last to arrive. The others are already inside and waiting. The 7-mile ride has been cold for Mary Bradford, but it's been fun for the youngsters. That's Susan, the youngest. Priscilla is well bundled up. Joshua is the oldest of Dave's children. So the reunion is on. The Shelbys are here, Aunt Jane and Uncle Clem. And now aunts and uncles and cousins can all get reacquainted. Jane Shelby and Mary Bradford haven't seen each other for months. There's so many things to talk about.
Well, I wonder what's keeping Pa.
Yes, and that husband of mine. Shall I go out in the barn and see, Grandma?
Oh, no, Josh. I expect he's just showing your father some of his new harness.
Josh, how would you like to ask Grandma for a cookie?
Oh, yes, of course. Right there in that brown jar, Josh. And take a few extra with you for Priscilla and Peter and the rest.
Well, here we are. Hello, Joshua.
Grandpa.
Mary.
Hello, Father. Did you take care of Major all right?
Yes, he's been stabled and fed.
You sure do love that old horse, don't you? I suppose you'd like to have one of your own someday.
That would be something.
Is that Grandpa? Come on, we're waiting for you. Can you pass out the presents now, can you?
Certainly can. Priscilla, my little girl.
Light the tree, light the tree.
And now, old-fashioned candlelight for an old-fashioned Christmas. They'll enjoy it while they can, for the candles will not be allowed to burn too long. And where is the child who has not loved this moment at Christmas time? Why, the tree is almost as exciting as the gifts themselves. Grandfathers are pretty popular in most families, and Grandpa Bradford is no exception. the family wouldn't think of exchanging the gifts themselves. Grandpa has to pass out each one. That's part of Christmas at the farm. And who can say which is the happier, the receiver or the giver? A fountain pen, one of those new ones that carries its own ink. Now, what do you suppose Priscilla wants most of all? Will their little girl like it? Toys and Christmas go together. The porcelain doll came from a city far away. But not all the gifts come from stores. Many were made at home. Knitting a pair of mittens for a nephew can bring a wonderful reward. A tablecloth crocheted with loving care makes it more precious somehow. And what will it be for the youngest child? What is Susan hoping for? Of course, a teddy bear. For Grandma, a shawl to keep and treasure. These are gifts that carry with them a family's love. Some gifts bring with them a part of the world beyond this house. That's one of the wonders of the age, a phonograph. Came all the way from Chicago. This will mean music and song for the whole family. Hours of pleasure in the quiet evenings. This will be pleasure too, a sled for Peter, straight from Grandpa's workshop. And for Josh, something very dear to his heart, a book about a horse, Black Beauty. And he is a beauty. What a wonderful morning it's been, giving, sharing, being together.
Dave. Oh, Dave.
Yes, Pa?
It's getting a little chilly in here. Don't you think you'd better go out and get that big log for the fire?
Yes, I'll get it right away.
Well, I guess that's all the presents. That is almost all. There's one more present that was too big to put under the tree. You all know that Josh had a birthday last month. Now that he's 10 years old, he's old enough to have this something. It is a sort of a combined birthday and Christmas gift. Of course, when Peter's 10 years old, I aim to give him the same thing. Josh, go to the window now.
A cold. A cold. Golly.
It seems that once in every child's life comes the time when he gets the one gift he treasures above all others. And for Josh, this is the one.
Well, he sure was a happy boy. Yes, and there'll be no living with Peter now until he's old enough to have a coat. Well, now, maybe we can get this dinner finished. Alice, would you go out and pack and get that pitcher of cream? And Mary, would you please cut those pies? Oh, the goose.
And so a family gathers for Christmas dinner. But more than that, a home is filled with warmth and love and goodwill.
I believe we're ready now, Pa.
Our Heavenly Father, for these gifts we are about to receive, we thank Thee. We ask Thy blessing upon this house and upon these Thy servants, gathered together through Thy bounteous guidance and love. Amen.
Gathered together for Christmas, 3 generations of a happy family. Parents who have worked to make their dreams come true, and children who brighten the lives of all. This was Christmas yesterday, when life on Grandfather's farm was a little slower, perhaps a little gentler. A life we call old-fashioned. Life that was part of an old-fashioned American Christmas.
Hi everybody, this is Skip Elsheimer. I'm pre-recording my Christmas show, and this is a 3-hour show. Includes some stuff I've shown in the past and some new stuff, some stuff from my collection, some stuff from the Prelinger collection, stuff from other places, but hopefully it'll be something that you can sit, drink your coffee, relax after opening gifts, and watch some stuff about Christmas. I very much appreciate you guys tuning in over the year, and I look forward to watching more films with you in the new year. So I'll be back live tomorrow, but everybody have a great rest of your day today. Merry Christmas, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.
A long, long time ago, when my grandfather was just a boy, his home was a little cabin in a beautiful, secluded place called Cozy Valley. He had a favorite story about the animals in the valley. A story about Doc Owl, that wise old bird, and Rowdy the Crow, that noisy one. Buttons the Squirrel, she was in the story too. And so were Ringtail the Raccoon, Snoozy the Possum, Mrs. Beaver and her twins, and Grandfather's favorite, Velvet the Fawn. Then there was Mischief the Fox, that troublesome rascal who was always hungry. And there were some other animals too. But let me tell you the whole story, just the way my grandfather used to tell it to me about the animals of Cozy Valley. He called his story, How the Animals Discovered Christmas. It was a clear, star-bright night, the enchanting night before Christmas, and all was quiet in our valley. Old Doc Owl was taking a nap in his oak tree when he heard something and asked his favorite question, Who? Well, who was it that woke him up? It was Velvet the Fawn, going along the path that went near our cabin. He stopped to look. Inside, we were bustling about, getting ready for Christmas. Oh, I remember it so well. Velvet came close and looked into the window. He saw me decorating the tree. But of course, he'd never seen a Christmas tree before, with lights and ornaments. Then I happened to notice him. When he saw I was watching him, he bounded away. He kept running till he reached his favorite hideaway in the spruce trees. He was about to lie down when What was that? A bird? A bluebird? What was he doing in our valley in the winter? He should have flown south. But then Velvet could see that this bluebird had a broken wing. Very gently, he lifted the bluebird up, and away they went. Velvet headed for the oak tree where old Doc Owl lived. Who? Who? Well, it was a bluebird, that's who, and he needed help. So Doc Owl said he'd spread the news. Down he flew to the home of Buttons the squirrel. Who? Who? That woke her up. Doc Owl said, "We've got an injured bluebird and need some help." Buttons agreed to get the other animals, and Doc Owl said he'd watch over the bluebird. Doc kept the bluebird warm, while Buttons went to wake up the rest of the animals. She pulled Scamper the rabbit out of his hole under the old oak. Then she scurried over to get Snoozy the possum. Buttons pummeled and pressed, and then she pulled and pulled, and oh, what a problem that sleepyhead was. Finally, Buttons pushed, and that did it. Meanwhile, Scamper the rabbit raced to the old stone fence to get Ringtail the raccoon. Scamper explained about the bluebird with the broken wing. Would Ringtail help? Good. Ringtail would come. Scamper's next stop was Mrs. Beaver's house on the frozen pond. Mrs. Beaver said she'd help, but she'd have to bring her twins, too. On his way back, Scamper took the path that went by our cabin. And I know he saw our tree and heard our Christmas music. Meanwhile, Buttons was on her way to call Rowdy the Crow, when suddenly, there was Mischief the Fox. If only Buttons could reach a tree. Just then, Rowdy began calling to attract Mischief. Mischief jumped and missed. Buttons saw her chance, and up she went, safe and sound. Finally, Doc Owl and all the animals were gathered. Now, how could they help the injured bluebird through the winter? Doc Owl was in charge, since he was the wisest one. They could all see that the bluebird could never fly south this year. He'd need a warm place to stay until his broken wing could heal. Who? Doc Owl asked who could provide a home for the bluebird. None of the animals had a home big enough for the bluebird to exercise his wing when it healed. He'd need a snug, warm home, a home safe from Mischief the Fox, a home that was... And then Doc Owl thought of it. Of course, there was one place, and he pointed the way. They all knew where it was, the home of Grumbles the bear. It was a big cave, almost closed by a snowdrift. Who would volunteer to shovel? Who? I'll do it, said Mrs. Beaver. With my tail. The twins helped too, and pretty soon they could hear Grumbles snoring. They had to wake him up so they could explain about the bluebird and his broken wing. Grumbles said he'd be willing to let the bluebird share his warm cave until spring. Could they use this handkerchief as a bandage? Grumbles had found it one day while picking berries. Yes, they could use that. And in a little while, the bluebird's wing was carefully wrapped. He tried to sing a song of thanks, but... And so, very quietly, old Doc Owl led the animals out of Grumbles' cave. Now he suggested they should gather some food for the bluebird and something for him to sleep on. So that is what they did. Velvet uncovered some soft moss for the bluebird's bed. Scamper got the carrots he had saved. Buttons had some sweet hazelnuts. Rowdy brought his dried sunflower seeds. And Snoozy dug out some dried apples. Mrs. Beaver bit off some purple dogwood berries. And Ringtail brought 2 sweet potatoes. They were putting their food near a little tree near Grumble's cave when Scamper looked at the tree and remembered something. Why not hang the food where the bluebird would see it on the tree, like the one he'd seen in our cabin? Soon they were hanging up their gifts, making a game of it. And in no time at all, they had added bittersweet berries, the color of flame, the dried sunflowers, and all the other gifts. The Beaver twins had brought some icicles, and there in the moonlight, the little tree gleamed. But now it was late, and they were tired. Doc suggested that they turn in and come back in the morning to show the bluebird what they had done. On his way home, Velvet went bounding along the path that passed near our cabin when he heard something. There! Reindeer! Reindeer! Much like Velvet himself. They were harnessed to a beautiful red sleigh filled with toys and packages. The reindeer told Velvet it was Christmas Eve, that wondrous night when people exchange gifts to show their love for one another. Anyway, just as they were getting better acquainted,
Ho, 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 ho!
Velvet didn't wait to see more. When he reached his hideaway, he heard the little bells again, and there above him were the reindeer and sleigh.
Ho, ho, ho!
It was early Christmas morning, and the tree near Grumble's cave sparkled in the morning light. It was time to call the bluebird. Right behind the bluebird was Grumbles. He was still sleepy, until he saw the gifts on the tree. Then Mrs. Beaver offered the bluebird her flat tail as a sled. Around the tree she pulled him. All the animals were delighted to see how happy the bluebird was. In fact, they were all having so much fun, they didn't notice Mischief the fox, but he saw them. What would he do? None of the animals moved. But Mischief looked so thin and hungry that Grumbles decided to offer him a sweet potato that Ringtail had brought. No one had ever offered Mischief anything before. He was so surprised that he actually smiled. And the animals of Cozy Valley smiled back. After Mischief gobbled up the sweet potato that Christmas morning, somehow he didn't feel like being mischievous anymore. While they were all busy making friends and looking at the gifts on the tree, the bluebird had hopped off Mrs. Beaver's tail, and then they saw him, hopping up to the very top of the tree. He had only one way to show his thankfulness. The animals were overjoyed. The bluebird was singing. The bluebird was singing. Now they knew he was getting well, and the bluebird sang as no bluebird had ever sung before. His song was filled with the love he felt for all the animals, the same love which the animals had given him. And that was the story my grandfather used to tell me. His story of how the animals of Cozy Valley discovered the joy of making others happy at Christmas.
Christmas 1978 was a resounding success. Christmas 1979 will be even more successful because we are offering our customers the best products in our company's history. What is it about Christmas that is so especially Hallmark? The sounds, the smell, the touch, the look of Christmas offer a perfect background for Hallmark products. Blend each element into a single statement saying, "This is Christmas, a Hallmark Christmas."
Christmas, the time to remember friends and loved ones. You'll find so many Hallmark cards to express your feelings with warm words and beautiful designs in traditional, religious, even whimsical themes, and envelopes just as beautiful as the cards. This year, let Hallmark cards help you share your personal message for Christmas. Beautiful Christmas cards, boxed and waiting at your Hallmark store.
At Hallmark, we make our cards with care. Each Christmas card is designed so that it flows smoothly and clearly from the front panel to the inside, coordinating card and envelope. Hallmark designs add value and greater importance to the message inside. Lettering artists work closely with design artists to ensure a lettering style that is complementary to the painted or photographic design. Hermann Zapf, one of the world's most renowned masters of the art of handwriting, was a Hallmark consultant for many years, and his tradition of excellence is an example of achievement for every Hallmark lettering artist. Hallmark cards offer messages with a conversational sound using words that are comfortable and familiar to a broad range of senders. Maintaining high-quality standards assures the most accurate reproduction of the artist's original design. The most sophisticated computer support programs in the industry make certain that the right card is available in Hallmark stores when needed. Customers purchase more Christmas counter cards from Hallmark than from all the major greeting card publishers combined.
In my day, families always got together at Christmas time. We'd be over at somebody's house, trimming the tree. We'd sing carols, and I'd make my special eggnog. Times have changed, but one tradition we still have, Christmas cards. This one's going to my boy, Petey. I'm the only one who can still get away with calling him that. I'm sending this one to my big brother, Jack. He's always there whenever I need him.
This Christmas, let the special people in your life know how you feel with Christmas cards from Hallmark. Cards that say something special to someone you love.
This is to my niece, Joanne. She loves poinsettias. Christmas always reminds me that I've got the best family any grandmother ever had. Now, how about that? It's the whole day. Finished just in time.
Hallmark Christmas cards.
And for parties to entertain family and friends, use this snowflake pattern. It is appropriate throughout the entire winter season. Again, responding to the various needs of the customer, Hallmark offers the casual to the more sophisticated designs and a wide variety of products, including cookie cutters and playing cards. New decoration techniques have been developed for use on lapel pins, giving us an impulse-oriented product for children and young adults. Christmas is party time. This snowman puppet and Christmas mouse add interest to Christmas parties. Party goods can be used in a variety of ways all through the year. What is a good seller from July through January? What offers quality in design and reproduction and themes that appeal to all? The young and not so young, the big guy, the little guy. The answer? Hallmark calendars. Show-off calendars July through January, up front in an 8-foot display with all the signing and attention they deserve. National TV advertising will add to the demand. An innovative computer support system complements this demand. And what's new? Baby's first year, photo frame, and as a gift to yourself, the new appointment calendars. What else does the Hallmark customer look for as early as July? Tree trimmers, of course.
Hallmark presents keepsake ornaments for Christmas, designed like beautiful ornaments from Christmas past, with Hallmark care and craftsmanship. And Hallmark ornaments are just the gift for Christmas present to treasure a special event like baby's first Christmas. Many Hallmark ornaments are dated keepsakes too for Christmas future because they return every year. Hallmark keepsake ornaments, wherever Hallmark cards are sold.
Hallmark has made tree trimmers a formidable entry in the gift market through point-of-purchase signing, distinctive packaging, and national advertising. A new booklet, The Guide to Collecting Hallmark Ornaments, will sell the reader on the fun of starting a collection of Hallmark ornaments. Behind the scenes for ornaments and calendars is the computer support system you asked for. In 1979, you or the computer can select designs planned by caption and based on sales history. To fully understand the program, be sure to read your Christmas manual. And to wrap it all up, Hallmark gift wrap.
You want to know how to make wrapping presents as much fun as opening them? It's easy with reverse wrap, the two-sided gift wrap from Hallmark. Look, one side has a bowl design, so it's perfect for wrapping big presents. Turn the paper over and there's a different pattern, just right for small packages. With two designs to work with, there's no end to the creative things you can do. Oh, and here's an unusual shape to wrap, but reverse wrap does it beautifully. See? There's always a design surface showing. Reverse wrap can even make the outside of a box as pretty as what's inside. Just use one design for the bottom and the other design for the top. And how's this for a nice-looking touch? Cut out sections of the large pattern, like these little Christmas trees, and use them for a matching accent. Want to make a package really special? Just take a strip of the reverse pattern and wrap it around. And don't forget Hallmark's finishing touches, like matching ribbons and trims. See? With reverse wrap, the two-sided gift wrap from Hallmark, and a little creativity, wrapping presents can be as much fun as opening them. And you'll find other Christmas decorating ideas in this Expressions booklet, free at many Hallmark stores.
Design quality and originality can be showcased in this new promotional merchandiser. It fits perfectly with existing units. New dimensional display boxes illustrate the beauty of our wraps and encourage the purchase of accessories. This special Flexomatic insert allows our retailers to display color plan conveniently and effectively. All of us are proud of our 1979 Hallmark Christmas and of all the Christmases past and future, because Hallmark means quality. Quality your customers have come to expect.
The human mind, reaching for ideas and ways to share them. Our minds have conceived the useful, the entertaining, the beautiful. They've given us words to express our thoughts. Our hands work with our minds, creating reality from imagination, giving us beauty to appreciate. And always our hearts have guided our hands and minds, letting us express love, joy, all the feelings that make life special. At Hallmark, we want you to express your feelings in your own personal way. To help, we turn our minds to the intriguing and original. Our hands create beauty in the tradition of ancient craftsmen with thought and feeling, to let someone know you care. And just as master silversmiths imprinted their hallmark, guaranteeing superior quality, our Hallmark and Crown are your assurance of quality. Hallmark, when you care enough to send the very best.
And now a special message from Mr. Hugh Bauer, Vice President of Marketing.
It's all wrapped up in quality. Quality is the keynote of Hallmark's business offer. It begins with quality in product, and then quality in programs to merchandise those products. Programs of data processing support, training seminars to help our dealers, the finest fixtures and display ideas that we can devise, all kinds of programs that are designed to help our dealers, to help them have the most interesting and most exciting stores in their communities. But most of all, it's quality in people. The quality professional marketing people that pull it all together in partnership with their retailers. I'd like to say congratulations to all of you for your part in what appears to be the largest retail sales season in Hallmark history. Our 1978 increase is as large as last year's total Christmas counter card volume. 1978 was a record-breaking Christmas retail season. Record-breaking at least for those stores that concentrated on satisfying the shopper with the completeness of their assortments and with a merchandising environment that was pleasing and interesting, creating stores that looked like Hallmark. Some stores that didn't make an all-out effort last year may have had disappointing results. We hope not. But we do know that in recent years, those stores that have been emphasizing terms and concessions have been losing share of market to those stores that instead have concentrated on pleasing the consumer. And the shoppers are going to the stores that they like to shop in, Hallmark stores. Hallmark dealers' Christmas retail sales have grown nearly 75% since 1975. And this growth is great, but it also has given us growing pains. Our production, shipping, and administrative areas are nearly bursting at the seams. We're very much aware of the problems you faced this past year, coping with all aspects of service. We have taken action, and here are some of the steps that are being taken to help the situation in 1979. We have substantially more equipment on order, and we're building onto our plants in Leavenworth and Topeka. A special warehouse and shipping point has been established in the Kansas City area to handle calendar and ornament shipments. And ship dates on these lines have been moved up to May 15th, and these steps will help. The Christmas season is the biggest and best retailing opportunity and the most competitive time that our dealers face all year. It's the time when they really need a partner to work with them in their planning, their training, their promoting, and their merchandising. Christmas in the retail world is the World Series and the Super Bowl combined. I believe that we have the ingredients for another championship season in 1979. Have a good day and another successful year.
Yes, children, but Santa won't be here until you and Ann are sleeping.
Good night, Ann. Good night, Mommy and Daddy. Mommy.
Mommy, say goodnight to Daddy for me.
All right, I'll tell him good night for both of you.
Mommy, can I have a drink of water?
You've had a drink already. Now, children, it's time to go to sleep.
Oh, Dick, I wonder if Santa ever got our letter.
Yes, Anne. Far up at the North Pole, Santa is reading your letter now.
Why not? Boys and girls all over the world wonder how Santa lives. I think I'll send for them in my magic helicopter. Oh, Toby, come here.
What do you want, Santa?
Toby, take my magic helicopter and bring the two children here to visit me. Mind you, you must hurry, for my time is short before I make the long Christmas Eve trip.
Your own words are my command, Santa. Wake up! Wake up! Santa sent me here to take you to the North Pole. Hurry up and get dressed and we will fly to Santa.
It's just a short hop in the magic helicopter. There it is. Santa's castle at the North Pole. Hold tight, kids. We're coming in for a snowy landing. Before you know it, Dick and Ann are hurried to the castle entrance and see the busy elves hurrying to and fro.
Santa, the others and Ann and Dick.
Welcome to Santaland. I'm very glad you came to see me. Here, wait a minute. Sit on my lap and let me tell you about Santa what you might not know.
The children are amazed. Here they are, sitting on Santa's lap and listening intently as Santa explains that every year, just before Thanksgiving, he starts the merry Yuletide by visiting towns and cities all over the world. Always ready to please little children, he makes his jolly trip in many different ways. He arrives on river boats and finds many new friends all along the way. Wherever he goes, he always has loads of fun. Oh yes, in many towns, the marching bands turn out and step lively to the Merry Christmas tunes. The little elves parade too. Now isn't that nice? They even have a big mailbox to help Santa collect his letters from the boys and girls. See that chimney? I'll let you in on a little secret. Santa almost didn't fit in it, and Mrs. Santa Claus has informed him that he must stop eating so much. With all the big new shopping centers opening everywhere, Santa has to use his new rocket to get around, but he still uses his reindeer on Christmas Eve. They can get him just anywhere, and he's so proud of them too. Since Dick and Ann are visiting him, no trip to Santaland would be complete without a tour of the village toy shop. The good little elves have a miniature town, and in every window have little toy people jumping around. Here they make the tinsel and the Christmas tree ornaments. In this little store, they make the ribbon Turn out the wreaths and make your home so bright and cheery. It fills the air with Christmas spirit. Here are the little girls. Dolls are dressed with fine and fancy stitch. And oh yes, baby brother is quite a helper too. Every doll must have a head and also have a body. These busy elves on spinning lays turn out the long, thin bodies, while others paint their saucy faces and put them all together. Hard-working elves and Santa too like pies and cakes and cookies. This little store delights in making all those yum-yum goodies. A tour of Santa's Happy Land would not be quite complete without a visit to his big toy warehouse, not far from the street. There's gifts and toys for everyone. It's really a big treat. There's bears and dogs and cats galore. There's lions, tigers too. They won't bite and they don't fight, 'cause they're just made for you. Those busy elves are everywhere, and Santa needs them too. You wind them up, you turn them on, those funny little toys. The monkey drums and drums and drums, and he never does get tired. Our old Mother Bear, she scrubs and rubs. While Junior telephones, he'd rather talk the whole day through than do a lick of work. For little girls, a doll is fun to wash, to dress, and spank. And Santa has a big supply of every kind and type. How Anne enjoy these pretty dolls, and Dick shows no delight. A kitchen full of household toys will keep the youngster busy. She'll cook and scrub the whole day long, then serve a TV dinner.
Okay, Wizard, this is ready to be packed.
All children like to make some noise, and Santa says it's music. A toy piano or a drum will give them hours of fun. The older children like to build, and here's a boat to prove it.
Time's up, children. How about riding the rocket ship to my toy town play?
For Dick and Ann, their visit's almost over, but Santa saved his pride and joy till last. We'll take his rocket to the Super Toy Town trains. All aboard! Whoosh! And here we are. Now, wasn't that fun? It's just a few steps from the rocket to a breathtaking view of Santa's wonderful trains. I wonder if Anne will be as excited as Dick. There's trains of all kinds, coming and going, starting and stopping, logging trains, freight trains, streamliners, old-time choo-choos. I'll bet Daddy would enjoy this too. Look at that village. There must be a whole town of toy houses. Look out, children. Don't let that train run over you. And look, a toy circus with sideshows and a big 3-ring circus tent. Did you ever see such a wonderful show? Look at that circus parade. Santa, do these trains ever wreck? They do? Gosh, that's fun. Oh, no wrecks today. This is loads of fun. We could watch them for hours. Look, a toy coal mine. Do we really have to leave, Santa? It's time to go back home. We have certainly enjoyed it, but we know that you have to start on your long journey.
I'm so glad you came. Taken in, always remember the entire Christmas celebration is to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ hundreds of years ago. And the wonderful spirit of Christmas is for goodwill among all men. Hurry home with Toby. Bye. Bye. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas.
Some of the most exciting times in life are moments of creative breakthrough. They seem to occur often in the world of art. They occur in political life. In fact, they occur in every field of human endeavor. But the mechanics of how it happens are not always easy to determine. These paintings are an example. They introduce the world to new discoveries about perspective and proportion. And they did so at the very same time that Columbus was discovering America and the scholar Erasmus was developing a new field of study known as the humanities. Historians have called this 15th century explosion of knowledge the Renaissance. But to this day, they're not quite sure what caused it. The answer I like was suggested by Buckminster Fuller when he defined synergy as behavior of whole systems unpredicted by the behavior of their individual parts. In other words, no one person or event inspired the Renaissance. The whole was greater than the sum of the parts. The magic was in the coming together, in the merging of genius, effort, and circumstance. The unity and integration of many parts made the whole world bright with promise and potential. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't compare Hallmark with Renaissance Italy, but there is no doubt that we are approaching a moment of breakthrough in our corporate history. It isn't coming magically, and it isn't coming easily, but it is coming. The accomplishments of our past and present in no way diminish the fact that today, our company, yours and mine, looks forward to a period of even greater achievement. The new products you've been hearing about today are part of the reason. Hallmark has just made a $20 million commitment to new products in this 170,000 square foot Technical and Innovation Center. It's now being added to our headquarters complex in Kansas City. The products developed by the artists and technicians who will work in this facility will be an important ingredient to our success. Another important ingredient will be our advertising. Advertising's star began its ascent in 1983 and will shine brightest this Christmas. As you know, our 1984 advertising budget is double that of last year. And since the fourth quarter in 1983, we have widened our share differential versus American Greetings. This year, we will spend $40 million to bring the Hallmark message to consumers. And we will send that message in 3 different forms: significant new television advertising, the Hallmark Hall of Fame, and an all-new magazine effort. Why television and print? Well, each does something different. On the one hand, a television commercial can grip the emotions. With music and movement, it touches the viewer and gets her to experience the message. television is best for greeting card advertising. On the other hand, magazines are read for information. For the specialty products we want to sell, magazines are the best place to be. Today, I'd like to brief you in greater detail about our Christmas magazine effort. This Christmas, a wide range of leading magazines will feature 6 consecutive pages of advertising. The first ad is our introductory invitation to our consumers. Make this Christmas the very best. Make it a time for coming together, a time when the family is united by love and sharing. The next page features ornaments. The ad tells consumers that Hallmark tree decorations are more than ornaments. They are memories. Each has its own story. When you buy a Hallmark ornament, it's something to cherish. The stocking stuffer ad follows, inviting readers to stuff a stocking with love. The treasures promoted in this ad include Hallmark stockings, Rodney and Rhonda reindeer, and our old-fashioned teddy bear family. The gift ad shows how a Hallmark gift can help you communicate your feelings for a friend. Products selected for this ad meet the criteria retailers suggested. They were products with drawing power. We've included price points on this ad so consumers can appreciate the value. And here's the party wear ad, designed to support this year's party restage. It shows how people can set a mood when they set their table. And to wrap it all up, the reader learns how she can let people know just how special they are with gifts presented in beautiful Hallmark gift wrap or in our new gift bags and boxes. In addition, 5 special Christmas home entertaining magazines will carry a different mix of Hallmark ads. In these magazines, consumers will see the introductory invitation, the ornament, gift wrap, and party goods ads, plus an impressive 2-page ad focused on Hallmark's all-new lighted ornaments. The ornaments are a bright new tradition that glow with the old-fashioned spirit. And there's more. Lighted ornament ads in the 2 leading collector magazines, and a separate reindeer and teddy bear ad in 2 consecutive issues of People magazine. In all, there will be $3 million in Christmas print advertising alone. It is estimated that these magazine ads will be seen over 600 million times by women across the nation. The Christmas magazine advertising is extraordinary and represents the peaking of our first-year effort in this medium. And it will be matched by an equally ambitious effort on television. We are spending $8 million on television in the 4th quarter, in addition to a major new Hall of Fame production of Alexander Dumas' classic Camille, which will air December 11th. Our message will be that sending Hallmark cards by the boxful and individually is the best possible way to reach your friends and loved ones during this most important holiday season. We will encourage multiple sending. Here is the commercial we used last year to do that job. Our new advertising agency, Ogilvy and Mather, is hard at work developing creative executions to do the same job even better in 1984.
How do you know who to send Christmas cards to?
Well, there's the people you love.
Like Grandma.
Like Grandma. And there's friends that you miss.
How about new friends?
Sure. That's especially nice.
I have someone I want to send a Christmas card to, okay?
Okay.
This Christmas, the people you love would love to hear from you. Don't forget them. Give Hallmark Christmas cards when you care enough to send the very best.
Wonderful commercials like our Christmas Wish and ornament commercials will be shown on Camille, along with our powerful greeting card commercials.
Santa Claus, are you watching me now? My daddy said that nobody ever saw what you really look like, but I bet I know. So when I give him this picture of you, he'll smile and say, that's really Santa.
Late again. This is a week I'm not looking forward to.
And your coffee? Honey, try and relax. It's Christmas time.
Merry Christmas.
Come on. Does it come? Daddy, look what I made for you.
Honey, I'm really late. I'll look at it tonight, okay?
Daddy, Daddy, can we get Christmas?
Sweetheart, that's very nice, but it won't fit in our living room.
Come on, Katie.
Honey, it's only getting worse. Let me do it.
Daddy, can I help?
No, thanks, honey. I already got it.
Santa Claus, Santa, do you hear me now? What I want for Christmas is a new pair of ice skates and a sled. But most of all, I want my daddy. Daddy.
I love you, Katie. He took me on his knee, and he told me this story, which I've never told to anyone.
This Christmas, give the greatest gift of all. Give a little of yourself.
Okay, everybody down in front. Down in front.
Showtime.
Here we go.
Oh, I remember that one.
We had a lot more ornaments than furniture in those days, remember?
You had a lot more hair too, Daddy.
That one's upside down.
There we go.
Is there an elf in that picture?
That's me, Grandpa.
And your first ornament.
Focus.
That's 3 years ago.
I was 5 then.
Oh, I love that reindeer.
Ah, lights.
That's it.
Give it to her now.
When you give a Hallmark keepsake ornament, you help create a Christmas memory. Each is crafted with care and uniquely designed to help make your special moments last. This Christmas, give a memory to be cherished year after year.
Merry Christmas.
Give a Hallmark keepsake ornament.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hallmark commitment to Christmas advertising should be a source of great pride and revenues to us all. But it's only one part of the story. Great product is another part of the story, and great support programs. For your part, be sure your store has enough product. Build those motivational displays and use the tie-in signing materials. Consumers will be looking for the advertised items, and the easier they are to find, the higher your sales will be. Do everything you can to promote Christmas in your stores. Open houses can be powerful tools, and an imprinting business might be just the right thing. Finally, don't be satisfied with good intentions. Be sure to follow through on the ideas you've heard about here today. Earlier, I quoted Buckminster Fuller on the subject of synergy. Well, he had another observation that bears repeating. 3 little words that I think say it all. Unity is plural, he said. Unity is plural. You, me, all of us. It's our product designers and it's our advertising agency. It's all of us at Hallmark and all of you coming together for success. Each time you set up a display or stage an open house, you become a greater part of the Hallmark unity which shapes our success. Let's all pull together and have our stars shine very brightly this Christmas.
Legend has it that the Christmas tree was first brought indoors during the 16th century. In those early days, lighted candles were used to simulate the stars. The custom took hold in the German Rhineland, and 200 years later, it had spread all over Europe. The tree was first used in the United States about the time we gained our independence. Popularity of the custom in this country spread rapidly, and with the development of electric lighting, the stars gleamed anew. Today, from the Pacific coast eastward, across the northern tier of states to New England, in the south and southwest stand these trees. Trees for the mills, trees for beauty, for the protection of our watersheds, the shelter of wildlife, serving us in many ways. Call them balsam, spruce, hemlock, Douglas fir, cedar, pine. Call them Christmas trees. In the United States alone, we harvest over 20 million every year.
Say there, cutting so many young trees, isn't that rough on the forest?
No, when it's done properly, it's good, sound forestry practice. Nature will often plant these trees 10,000 to the acre. That leaves little room for their roots. Not enough light, air, and space for them to grow. Many more trees are destroyed by overcrowding, insects, and disease than are cut for Christmas. The dead and dying trees become tinder for fire, which can mean complete destruction. And of course, trees needed for scenic beauty, shade, and rest for the traveler should never be cut for Christmas. Many Christmas trees first start life in federal, state, and private operated nurseries. Trees from private and state nurseries are sold to farmers and other landowners who plant them on idle acres not suited for pasture or growing other farm crops. This stand was planted primarily to stabilize the sandy soil and to stop its drift over adjoining crop and pasture lands. With the advice of the local forester or county agricultural agent, farmers planted seedlings at the rate of about 1,000 to the acre. The trees did their job. In addition, the first Christmas tree harvest, 14 years after planting, brought the farmers a return of $50,000. And in the following years, more than double this amount. And trees remain to provide the soil stabilization and shelter that the farmers were after in the first place. On many of the 152 publicly owned national forests, Christmas trees, as well as big timber, are grown under long-term management plans. The sale of these trees and other national forest products means local jobs because the cutting and marketing is done by private operators. 25% of the money the government receives is returned to the county where the trees grew. Nine out of every 10 Christmas trees come from privately owned lands. Half from the large forest tracts, and the other half from farm woodlands, affording the small operator and farmer an opportunity for a continuing seasonal income if he handles his woodland wisely. It adds up to a $20 million industry at wholesale, more than double that at retail. It is an industry that must get its wheels rolling early. The operators must seek out farmers and other owners of forest lands. They must buy the right to cut trees for Christmas, make plans for cutting, and arrange for their labor. The days to Christmas must be counted months ahead. The proper harvest in the natural forest and in most Christmas tree plantations is really a thinning operation. Trees should be selected for cutting with an eye to the best spacing for those that will be left. A practical technique which leaves the forest in better growing condition after cutting than before. Sometimes small trees are topped, leaving the roots, trunk, and lower branches to grow new trees. The new trees are called turn-ups. This method, known as stump culture, requires time and care. The actual cutting of Christmas trees is often started early in October. The operators can't afford to let the snows lock their trees in the forest. Besides, some of the trees must travel far to reach the market. Fresh from the forest, the trees are taken to concentration yards. Here they are sorted, graded, and bundled for compact and safe handling. Soft-limb spruce and balsam are tied by hand. The stiffer-limbed pines require special devices to hold them for tying into tight bundles. Cut from the lower portions of larger trees, boughs that otherwise would be waste are in demand for Christmas decorations. Their sale means added revenue. When the trees have been cut with an axe, they are butt trimmed for better appearance and ease of handling. The next move carries the trees to shipping points where transportation has been arranged. A last-minute check on the market situation may show a glut of trees moving to one point, so shipments are often rerouted. And then, perhaps from 100 miles away, perhaps 1,000, the trees get to the market centers. And now, just one step from the scene of their final glory. Pop didn't bring his axe. He brought the car to fetch home the family tree. So home she goes. Fresh butt cut, for the tree can still absorb plenty of water. With the sprinkling on the boughs and stored in a cool, shady place, the tree stays fresh and aromatic. These measures also go a long way toward reducing fire hazard. And so the Christmas tree finally comes into its own. What more wonderful destiny for a tree than this?